Good morning, everyone. Am I on the screen or what? There we go. Why does it not show my avatar? Because I was on camera. Good thing it was covered up. Good morning, everyone. How's everyone doing? Merry Christmas. Good to see you. Co-Train, good morning. Magooch, good to see you. Good morning. Tommy Stiggs, good morning. Merry Christmas. James Simpson, Merry Christmas. And Sweet Tea, Merry Christmas to you. Hope you're all doing well. Osada, did you talk about the lady near you that got hit in the face by a stick with a nail? The nail went into her eye. No, I did not. I didn't go on yesterday, and I never even heard about that. I'll have to look that up. No, I got real problems at my house right now. It's drama, drama central. It's what happens when you have a Chinese landlord who is actually a member of the Chinese Communist Party who only comes to America to do business. It's worth the watch. Okay, I'll look into it. She got hit in the head, in the face with a stick with a nail. The nail went into her eye. Oh my God. Musada has black tape over every camera and microphone in the house. You already know. I'm about to get more cameras here real quick, too. Yeah, we'll look into it. And I didn't go live yesterday. I was my sleep schedule was all off yesterday. I was going to go live, but I went to bed so early on Christmas Eve. I watched my granddaughter. She just took it out of me. So as soon as I got home, I went to bed. And then I woke up at like 11. And I drank some coffee like an idiot. And I didn't know if I was coming or going. So I just went back to bed at like 1:30, right about the time I would set the thumbnail. So I was in no shape to do the show yesterday. You have drama too. I'm wrapping my grandson's gifts and ran out of wrapping paper. Yeah, see, that's a problem. I made sure I bought plenty of wrapping paper. It was like one of the first things that I did. And I think it was back in November, actually. It might have been early December. But I got 4 big rolls of wrapping paper, frozen and Paw Patrol, stuff like that. But, I went to Walmart yesterday morning at 6 a.m., right when they opened up, just because I just wanted to get there and see if I could find a couple more things to get my granddaughter, which I did. I ended up spending another $150. But when I got there, I don't know if anybody went to Walmart yesterday, but right when you walk in, where like they have 3 aisles of Christmas candy and all kinds of just miscellaneous stuff, all gone. It's all Valentine's Day. Christmas Eve morning, all the Christmas stuff is gone, all of it. And it's all Valentine's, which is, how many days away is Valentine's? 45 days, 50 days away. So I don't know. Go figure. But yesterday I was getting ready to go to my granddaughter's house. It was probably 2:00 in the afternoon. And I have my truck loaded up and I'm standing in my kitchen. Somebody, and I have roommates, like I said, a Chinese guy owns this house. And there's this house is connected to, he rents out 2 other places up front that are connected to this, that whole families rent, like a Mexican family. And the other people are like Pacific Islanders, I think, that live right up front on the road. Anyway, yesterday, 2 black dudes walk in. Well, one guy kind of walks in the house. He knocks on the door. And when I come around the corner, I was outside and I see this van pull up and I see some weird dude get out of it and holding a dog. And I don't think nothing of it. I don't know who he's there for or what. I thought maybe he was like a delivery driver. But then now it's him and some other, this black dude, and I live in Tacoma. I grew up around black people. I have no problem with black people. Both of these guys both of these guys are ex-cons. They've been in prison. And these guys were bad, really fucking bad people. And I mean, they scared me. I'm thinking to myself, and so it's like, knock, knock, hello. I come around the corner. I'm like, yeah, I'm expecting like maybe him to say something like, I'm looking to rent one of the rooms or something. And they go, are you the one that buys gold and silver? And I go, no, I don't buy any gold and silver. And I'm fucking really freaked out right now because I'm looking at these two dudes, and these guys have robbed people before. I can tell immediately. Like, I'm already just thinking for my survival. Like, I got knives in the kitchen. Like, I'm already like street smarting it immediately. I'm like, something is not right with this. I don't know what the fuck is going on, but I'm not going to make sure I'm not fucking going to get hurt. And so I say, no, I don't buy gold and silver. Nobody here buys gold and silver. And so I shut the door, and they walk like they're going back towards the alley. And then they come back, and now they're not. And I'm looking through the window, make sure, because I got like 4 coolers out there, making sure they're not messing with my coolers. And each one of them knocks on one of the outside units. And one of the ladies that, she's like 70 years old that lives out there. And so I opened the front door and I said, hey, no, those guys don't sell gold and silver either. I was like, nobody here sells gold and silver. And then they go, well, how come the sign out front says you do? I said, what? I said, what's? I said, well, maybe it's the people up front. I don't know what the fuck he's talking about. No fucking sign. They go, well, we already asked them, and they said that maybe it was you guys back here. I said, look, man, I said, nobody here sells gold and silver. She doesn't sell gold and silver, or no, we don't buy gold and silver. He goes, are you the ones that buys the gold and silver? I said, nobody here buys gold and silver. Okay. I said, nobody does that here. Now I'm really fucking like freaked out and pissed off. So then they give me a fucking attitude and shit. And then I go back in the house and I'm thinking about it for a second. And I'm like, you know what? Fuck this. And so I go outside out front, and I'm like, and then I see the other dude, and this guy is a straight fucking criminal, and he's sizing me up and shit. I said, where's the sign at? I said, show me the sign you're talking about. And then sure shit, I go out by the street, and there's a huge fucking yellow sign, a banner, a professional banner nailed to the house up on the roof that says, we buy gold and silver. And then in huge letters, and then in very small letters, it says text only down on the bottom. And then it has a phone number. And I'm thinking, what the fuck is this? Shady as fuck on Christmas Eve. And weird shit always happens on Christmas Eve, right? So that's why I knew something bad was about to go down. I'm like, these motherfuckers are robbing people today. That's why they're out, and I never in a million years would have thought I'd seen that sign. Huge fucking banner on our house on the roof. So I text the property manager, Lily, and say, Lily, there's a sign on do you know anything about this sign? No response. I text the owner, Tony, the Chinese dude, no response. Now I talk to the people up front, and they're terrified. They have babies. They have 2 young babies. There's a whole family that lives there. And they said that more people had already been there. Even though the sign says text only, people are coming up. And, people, especially in this town, people that are looking, that think, could you imagine? They fucking think that we have that we buy gold and silver. So that means that we have cash and gold and silver in here. In a town that is filled with criminals on one of the most disgusting roads in all of Tacoma, Pacific Avenue. One of the most, if not the busiest road in all of Tacoma. And, you know, it's Christmas Eve, so there's not a lot you can really do on Christmas Eve. So I tell those people, I mean, they're petrified. They're like, yeah, you know, and I said, oh, we're 100% somebody's going to get robbed. I was like, it's not a matter of if, it's just a matter of when it's going to happen. And I said, if we do the math, you're saying what, 3 strange groups of people have already came in what, 2 days? I said, so that's, you know, 90 people in a month. I said, we get 90 criminal groups that come here thinking that there's gold and silver. It's going to take less than 30 days to get robbed. Trust me, it's going to happen. I said, we cannot have that sign up there. Yeah, they said they already tried to get a hold of the owner and stuff. I said, well, fuck this. I said, you guys got a ladder? And so they had a ladder. I went up there and fucking took that sign down myself. Yanked that motherfucker down. And the lady who I've been talking to that lives up front, she said, now she calls me. And I said, don't tell the owner I fucking took that sign down. Because he's a motherfucker. You know, if he finds out I did it, who knows what's going to happen. And she says, oh, I already told him I took it down. And so she's like, you know, she's drawing a line in the sand with him, which is good because I did too once I found it. Because now here's the thing. I text, I'm so pissed off. I don't know. I can't even fucking think straight yesterday. So I was like, you know, I'm going to text that number and find out who's buying this fucking, who is this? You know, because at this point, I'm convinced that there's no way it could be that maybe even Tony doesn't even know about it, the owner, because, you know, I think he's in Austin right now buying up houses there. So I text the number. Well, and I type the number in to send a text and it takes me to Tony. It's his fucking number. The guy that owns the house. Good morning, Cheryl. Good to see you. How funny is it you talk about the Chinese buying up all the property, your landlord is one? Well, no, that's why I talk about it, Co-Train, because I know for a fact. That's why I'm not talking out my ass, because he actually owns $8.8 million worth of real estate in Tacoma, in Pierce County. And I know that number because I read a news article. I didn't know he was on the news, but he's already under investigation with whoever. Because there's a news report out and he did this. So let me not get too sidetracked here. So I said, Tony, I said, we can't have this. I said, this is. He goes, you know, and he finally responds. He goes, my phone out. He just puts, well, you can put a note on the door, basically, is what he says, that says we don't have gold and silver, that we don't buy gold and silver. That you got to text the number. And I texted him back. I said, you're missing the point. I said, these people are going to rob us. So that sign is not going to fucking do no good. We are 100% going to get robbed. And he said, what was his last text he sent? Hold on. Just lock the door in the yard, please. So, you know, there's 2 families that live up front and there's a metal gate that doesn't lock anyway. Nor would it do any good, right? It's the dumbest response ever. Not to mention that it's not going to do, locking that gate doesn't do any good for the 2 families up front they're the ones that are going to get robbed anyways, because the sign is literally above that first family's unit. It's on their unit. So they're the ones that are going to get their door kicked in first. And so they're turning them into grow houses in states like Maine. Oh, they're doing all kinds of stuff now, you know, and now they're buying up all the gold and silver. So, you know, he just tells me, you can put a note on the door saying, call the number only, thanks. And then I'm like, you know, I said, absolutely not. You're missing the point. When people think there's gold and silver and cash in this house, they're going to kick the door in. It's not going to work. And I go, I'm pretty sure you don't want those type of people coming to your house, Tony, like they did inside this one. I said, scaring the shit out of me. I thought I was about to get robbed. And he puts, just lock the door in the yard, please. Right. So then the neighbor calls me and says that she talked to him, and he told her, if you don't like it, you can move. Right? That's what he told her. If you don't like it, you can move. And her lease ends in like 2 months or something like that. Well, she sends me a screenshot of Cairo 7 News, and it says investigating landlord concerns. And it shows my landlord holding he's flying a drone for whatever reason. I don't know. This motherfucker. And so I just Google it, and sure shit, I come across an article, because there was a guy that lived here that was halfway retarded, and he lived outside. I couldn't stand him, but I would never wish this upon somebody. They tricked him one day, and I think he was behind like 2 or 3 months on his rent. I don't know how far behind he was. The property manager, this little Chinese lady, comes one day, and they trick him, and they say, hey, I want to go show you another apartment that's a little bit cheaper that you could probably afford. So he gets in the vehicle with her, and she goes to show him some other place. And while they're gone, the landlord comes with 2 goons in his flatbed truck and just empties that guy's unit out, takes all his stuff and takes it to the dump. Everything. He literally came back to an empty room, completely, no bed, no TV, no nothing. They took it all. And he's just standing outside fucking dejected. And I just felt bad for him. I was like, dude, you got to call your mom. You got to fucking, call the cops, do something. You got to stand up for yourself. You can't let them do that to you. But anyway, let me show you what this article says here. So I don't know how all this is going to play out, guys. The article says, windows smashed, tires slashed. Tacoma renters raise concerns over landlord. From car tires slashed, car windows busted, and fish oil doused in cars, several tenants of one landlord in Tacoma, Kifan Shi, that's his Chinese name, say these are Shi's attempts to intimidate them and force them out of their home. This girl says her issue started after she missed rent at her Tacoma home. She had given birth 3 weeks before the start of the month and says her FMLA, paid family leave, was late. Hold on. We had no running water in our home with a 3-week-old baby and 2 6-year-old, because that's what he'll do. He'll cut the power, he'll cut the water. Landlord is one of a dozen current and former tenants. Let's see here. We found 29 properties in Pierce County and Federway under Shi's name. Assessor records from King and Pierce County showing the total purchase price for all properties is more than $8.8 million. All tenants told Cairo 7 Shi had them pay in cash. Yeah, we all pay in cash. And I live here just because it's super cheap. Like super cheap. And it's just, I'm trying to grow my business, but I'm not, I'm definitely there's a very, very good chance I'm moving. Says earlier this year, another woman told Cairo 7 that a brick was thrown through her window reading "I'm back around" just after she had a dispute with Shi over trying to remove a tenant from a home she was renting. They asked that I say he tried to sexually assault me. The woman said, pointing out when she refused, she started getting more threatening, and he started making me feel that I wasn't going to be safe in the home. And that's what that lady outside, she said she was worried because he was saying the same kind of shit. In fact, when this is how it played out yesterday. So she's voicing her concerns over the sign to him, right? Yesterday via text. So his response to her is, if you don't like it, you can move out. And then he sends her a screenshot of the news report of him being investigated. And then she's like, why did you send this to me? And she sent me the screenshot of this. And he puts, because I thought you were bored and maybe it'd be something that you'd want to watch, or something fucking weird like that. Anyway, have a Merry Christmas. The motherfucker's out of line, man. But I guarantee I'm not allowing that gold and silver sign to stay on this house. I don't give a fuck. I'm not getting robbed. So it's down, and it's going to stay down. But he said he's going to have his guys come put it back up. But I made sure it was down last night, because I'm not sleeping in a house that says we buy gold and silver on the fucking roof. Well, it had to have been really windy, Co-Train, because it's ripped. The Chinese are buying up house. Yeah, no, we already read that. Always stay strapped. Pretty sure it's illegal to run a business out of a residential structure, which is what, and I looked it up. The problem is that I think we're C2 zoned or whatever, because the donut shop is right next door. So, I don't know. I looked on ChatGPT, and they said the short answer is that it's possibly okay for him to do it, not morally, of course, but legally, but that tenants do have rights. And if you can prove that you're in danger, which, I mean, everybody is pissed off about this that lives here. There's not one person okay with it, obviously, So it's just, I even told him, I said, dude, how much money do you have to make? And, I am not the one. I think that he's gotten over on everybody. I'm going to be the guy. I will be the guy if it comes down to it. He doesn't want this fucking smoke, because, the bottom line is he's a fucking chink from China who is here. And my stepdad was Japanese. He's a fucking chink from China. And the only reason he's here in the United States is to make money. He's not here for a better life. He's not here to make friends. He's not here to assimilate. He's here to capitalize on, the fucking financial oppression of the American people. They have, all the money, and they're coming over here just fucking exploiting this shit. But whatever, to each their own. I choose to live here. But if you think you're going to fucking think you could put a gold and silver sign on here and have people like that come in here, oh, dude, I want to see him fucking climb that ladder when I'm around. I'll fucking yank that ladder out from under him, fucking kick his fucking teeth in if I have to. I'm not fucking playing. I am not playing with him over this one. So hopefully he comes to his senses, because, it's Christmas morning, and yesterday I was just like, I couldn't believe it. And the lady up front was so freaked out, she wouldn't get off the phone. I stayed on the phone with her for like an hour. I should have already been at my granddaughter's. And then I had to finally tell her when I got to my granddaughter's after driving over there that, hey, I got to go. It's Christmas Eve. We could deal with this on Friday. So, yeah, unbelievable. I'll show you guys. I don't want to transfer the picture. Tomorrow I'll show you guys the picture. I took a picture of the sign. It's a huge yellow sign. You can put like these 2x4s up there, or 2x6. You can add 2 of them up there. Fucking bastard. Sure, I'm on the south coast, about 10 minutes from Providence. Hingham. Never heard of Hingham. Hard winter. It's windy here. Not like super windy where I'm at, but I can feel it. And it's coming from the east, which normally comes from the west. So hopefully the trees aren't falling down everywhere up by the mountains. But anyway, so then, I finally make it to my granddaughter's, and then all was good over there. That was a lot of fun. It ended up being, it went from being the best, this is the best Christmas ever, to this is the worst night ever, because her mom told her that, she could only open a couple presents because it's Christmas Eve. The rest of them got to wait till tomorrow. So we had to go through that. It's a couple little meltdowns. There was 2 meltdowns, I think, but she got over it real quick. Only child type of thing. So grandma was there. I was there. A couple of her uncles were there. her other uncle is coming on Friday. So she was a happy camper. And I'm going to go back over there in the morning. The chill down here is going straight to the bones. Yes, it is, Cheryl. I mean, and you can't shake it off either. It does go to the bones. Like I'd noticed like a couple times I come inside and I have to like take my shirt off and then change all my clothes because you walk around and it's like, man, you just can't get warm again. So I'll put on like just all warm clothes that have been in the house and not outside. And it helps a little bit. But yeah, it does. It does get bone chilling coming off the Columbia for sure. Yeah, that part, down there, it could just be brutal for sure. You know, it's weird because they canceled the fantasy lights up here at in Spanaway, which I believe that's the first year they ever did that because of the weather. The weather was so bad that they said they just couldn't provide the holiday experience that they wanted to. And I get it, you know. Probably all the lights are you don't want to pay $15 and then have, you know, half the stuff not working or whatever. So I get it. It's just unfortunate. Longview gets very windy. Oh yeah, for sure. Keep multiple thin layers. Yep, for sure. Yeah, man, I don't miss those days out there. You know, there was one of my last construction jobs. I was just sitting in a telehandler, you know, every morning, 5 a.m. With the trash, you know, with the boom lifted up to the second or third floor with the trash box on it, and waiting for those guys to load it up, and then, you know, you lower the boom and go dump it in the trash box and rinse and repeat 20 times. And it is so cold just sitting in that. You know, half the time I would put the boom up and then go upstairs and help them, but then I got in trouble that I was not supposed to leave the vehicle. So that only lasted for a day. About 2 months ago, a couple of roofs and awnings were ripped off. Yeah, that happened here. That I think it's the same windstorm you're talking about. All of a sudden, late at night, it sounded like half the house came down. And I go outside and there's like, I never seen nothing like it. And there was so many shingles and they were strips, like 3 or 4 foot long strips. The whole thing, you know, just like, whoosh, 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 and they all came down in one spot on this tree and just collapsed this tree. This little tiny, well, not a tree, but it's a tree out there, about a 15-foot tall tree. And they just smashed the hell out of it. And then the shingles were all over the ground. But then it just happened again a couple days, you know, like last week. We had a windstorm. Not as many, probably because there's no more up there. What a disaster. And you know, it's crazy because my buddy in Arizona keeps bugging me to move down to down there to Arizona. And then I have another buddy up here who got a better deal. He's paying basically just as much for a 2-bedroom as he was for a 1-bedroom. So he came over here. He's like, dude, you should move in. Get out of this shithole. I was like, yeah, but I got so much shit here, dude. And this, that, and the other. Well, then this happens. So I got options. And it's crazy about Arizona because my ex is over at the house yesterday at my daughter's house. And I'm telling her about all this. And she's like, well, you got to move. And I'm like, yeah. And then in Arizona, it's like, but I don't want to leave Mila. And she goes, because she's been married for 20 years. Her husband's in Arizona right now because that's where his parents live at. And his mom just died. And he's still down there. He's been down there for like a month. He was down there while she was sick. Then she passed away. Now, who's going to take care of the dad type of thing? So my ex is thinking that they might be moving to Arizona. So, and she goes, shoot, I'd pack up and move to Arizona. And Jayla would come with me, talk about my daughter. So I said, well, I'm all for that, except for, I was like, I don't know how you guys are going to handle the heat in the summertime. I was like, you got to think about that because It ain't no joke. Arizona heat. It's a whole thing. So we'll see. On your house, water is definitely going to come. Here's a secret for men. Go buy a pair of tight pantyhose and wear those under your long johns. That's how women can walk around in skirts. Damn. Well, I'm definitely not doing that, but I can understand the logic. Yeah, and I believe that because you see girls walk around in skirts and open-toed shoes and stuff. I'm like, man, what are you doing? How do you do that? It truly works. Yeah, it must. It must. Co-train, you go first. It's been flooding from Osada down to my area. Yeah. Record flooding. Osada already wears pantyhose, and it's not work. Yeah, well, if I was, it definitely didn't work for me. But I do have, I do wear like long johns and insulated jeans, and then I'll wear a long sleeve like wicker shirt, whatever you call those, and then a t-shirt, a hoodie, and then my heated jacket and a beanie. That's what I got on if I'm cold, and then I bring my heater out there if it's really cold. That type of thing. So, right? Yeah, no, it sucks, and you got to be moving around because if you're just standing around, that's when you start noticing how cold you are. That's when it gets, that's the worst, man. Like a flagger or, doing shit like that. Oof. Yeah, getting to the construction site first thing in the morning when it's dark out and it's 24 degrees out. Ooh, wee. I remember those days. Or it's just coming down. It's just so fucking wet, and you got to be outside you can't avoid being outside, right? I mean, you can find shit to do when it's raining really hard, but can't avoid it. At least not me. I was out there fucking in storms dumping trash on the military base. They have spandex-like material long johns that work good. Did you find paper to fit? See, for me, it's not my, I can stay warm easy for my legs. It's my neck. I have such a long neck and then it gets my upper back cold. My neck and back get cold, and it's game over. In my ears, that area right there, and then my whole body's cold, and I just can't do it no more. And it wraps around to my chest. I wear fleece-lined Carhartt pants and my Carhartt overalls when I'm outside. Feet are the hardest thing to keep warm. Yeah, for sure. No longer than Thien dudes, right? It's about as long as Thien dudes. So I'm sure he deals with the same thing. He's always wearing a beanie. So his ears probably started. Because it happens to me too. All right, let's see what we got here. I don't have very many videos. I only have a couple. Not YouTube. Get a neck gaiter. My quilted Carhartt coat, I still freeze. You ever tried a heated jacket, Cheryl? I have a heated jacket, and I got a lot of other people to buy heated jackets since I got mine. And they're not going to keep you from freezing to death, but they definitely help. And they will keep you nice and toasty for a while. Battery powder hoodies, yeah, mine's battery powder. It's called. I know there's a whole bunch of different brands. What's the name of this one? Volcrete or something? No. Sojiki, SOJ. Spell that. SOLJIKYE. And it comes with a battery. It takes forever to charge the battery. Like once you use your jacket, you got to, I'm thinking about buying another battery, but and you got to keep it on low. It's got low, medium, and high. The settings on the jacket. If you put it on medium or high, your battery's drained real quick. So you're going to be out there for I'm out there for like 4 hours or more. I just keep it on low, and it'll go good for like 4 to 6 hours. Milwaukee Tools makes a nice. Yeah, they do. In fact, the first one I ever seen was a Milwaukee or a DeWalt heated jacket, and used the lithium ion battery from the drill, same battery I think that you put in there. I thought that was so cool. I worked with a guy one time that had one of those. My friend got it in a mystery box and it's size small, so sent it to me. Nice. The quilted Carhartt coat. That's awesome. I had a nice Carhartt jacket, a really nice one, and it got stolen on the last job site I was on, or one of the last job site I was on. I was vacuuming. It was a huge. We're building. There were the Kaiser Permanente buildings, like medical buildings. And it got to the point where they were basically on the punch list and finishing up. So they had us vacuuming the new carpets. And it's early in the morning. We're just fucking chilling, doing our thing. And my buddy Rupe, Filipino dude, is down on the second floor and I'm on the third floor. I thought he'd played a joke on me. So I go down there like, hey, where's my jacket at? And his jacket was gone too. Somebody came through the steps, another fucking construction worker, and stole my jacket and his jacket. Can you fucking believe that shit? And you're on a construction site, especially a job like that, you got people from all over. You got people we had people that were bringing in office equipment and they were shady as fuck. And that's probably who ended up doing it. There was a bunch of them. It's a bunch of little hoodlums that would come in every morning. You just never know what you're going to find on a job site. And they ended up stealing cigarettes and shit out of people's lunchboxes from the Glazers. They wanted to kill somebody. They were not playing around. That's how I found out that it was probably the office chair people that stole from us. Have to take a super hot bath. I hate baths. Yes, it is messed up. All I buy for work is Carhartt. Anything else is a waste of money. They're the only brand that I can last with what I do. Yeah. No, I get it. It's all about quality and unless you've worked construction, people just don't know. You don't get it because to be a construction worker is just. Number one, you got to be safe. You got to know about PPE and all that crap, and it's all about the right equipment, including. And most importantly, your clothing. Besides the hard hat and the glasses, it is, And when it comes to your feet, like you said, you don't want to have cold, wet feet. Your feet will be ruined within a short amount of time. You'll end up with athlete's foot and Yeah, you got to take care of your feet when you're in construction. I haven't taken a bath in 40 years. I don't fit in them. Same. Although I do have a wooden bathtub in my storage unit that you might be able to fit in Co-Train. My mom had it handmade. It's 6.5 feet long by, it's wide as fuck. One of my buddies' names, we call him Framer John, old guy. I don't know how tall you are, but you guys are probably the same. I think he was like 6'4". I have a picture of him sitting in it with no water in it, of course, with his boots on and his cowboy hat. Because we were getting ready to go gold panning one day. And this is when my mom was still alive. Now it's just been sitting in my storage unit since 2017. But it's huge. But I get it. Same. I haven't taken a bath in, good God, I don't remember the last bath I took. Now, I remember when I was like, this had been like, when I was a kid that I took a bath. But I do remember, for whatever reason, I think I was late for work. I think that's what it was. I was in my 20s. I worked in this game called Speed Bingo. It started 9:30 at night. Woke up fucking tired and pissed off, late for work, and I didn't want to take a shower. I just wanted to wash my hair. So I get in the bathtub and I lay down and I turn on just the faucet, and get down there just to get my hair wet. That's how I decided to do it. I don't know why. Well, I don't know why I decided to do it that way. Anyway, do you guys, those like racks that you put over the shower head, and it holds, like, you can put shampoo and soap and stuff on these things. It goes over and it drapes over. Well, that thing slipped off the shower head, and it had, 20-pound bottles of fucking, Costco shampoo up there. And I didn't see it. My eyes were closed, rinsing soap out of my hair. And that thing hit me straight in the forehead. And I looked like I was a fucking Hindu for like a month. I had this huge, I felt like I was about to be knocked out. It almost knocked me out. And I had this huge, like, a red scrape on my forehead for like months after that. So you just never know what's going to happen. Daniel Berry Sports, good morning. So knock you out. It almost did knock me out, Cheryl. It was funny. It almost knocked me out. I do not miss waking up at, oh my gosh, working gravy. That job was brutal. I made really good money, but start 9:30 at night. Sometimes you don't get off till like 7 o'clock in the morning. Our record was starting at 9:30 at night and getting off at 11:45 a.m. It was like a 15-hour shift because you couldn't get off until there were 25 cards or less on the table. That was the rule that the owner set. Cards meaning bingo cards. One bingo card had 3 numbers on it. There were these big plastic cards. It was a game called Speed Bingo. And you could play up to 3 cards. So if you had, potentially like get down to like 9 or 10 people, you could stay open if everybody was playing 3 cards. So, sometimes we would close at 4 a.m., 5 a.m. And then, like I said, 11:45 a.m. God dang it. And then you got to work the next night. So, you go home and sleep and, and who can go to bed at noon? You know what I mean? No time to brace for it. No, there wasn't. Completely blindsided. My eyes were closed. Just bam. The last time I ever I think I broke that thing. That cheap ass. It was the last time I ever used one of those. That hair hangs over the shower head. Never used one again. So screw all that stuff. I could only imagine the type of chemicals I was putting on my body back then in my 20s too, before I realized how bad all that shit was. Now I just use beef tallow soap and tea tree oil for my shampoo. You can't even smell the soap. My roommate uses I don't know what he uses, Ivory Coast or Irish Spring or one of those ones. Oh my God. I don't know why that stuff bothers me so bad. I used to use it myself. And I remember it would leave like a sticky film on you. But my God, man. I have to shut the bathroom door when they come out of there and they use that soap. It gives me a headache. It's so strong. I complain about everything. Mine slides down little by little. Oh, you have one of those racks? Yeah, I don't use. I can't. I get shell shocked when I see those things now. Let's see here. It is wonderful. I have. I don't use it that often, but I have a couple of. What are are these? All natural, unscented for face and body. 100% grass-fed and whipped tallow. I got that one. And then this one is same thing, 100% grass-fed tallow. Cottonwood and frankincense, muscle recovery and sleep. So this one's got beef tallow, distilled water, mineral magnesium chloride, cottonwood, and comfrey infused grapeseed oil. So I don't know what all those. She's got a Boswellia serrata essential oil resins. This lady, she was the reason I bought her. Well, actually, we traded for Huckleberry Lemonade. She was super. I got a really good vibe from her. You know, she was telling me about, you know, not only should I be cutting down my caffeine, because I was telling her I need to cut down my caffeine. She's like, yeah, that's a good idea. She's like, and tell me all this other stuff too. She's like, watch the nuts that you eat. Because I was telling her what my symptoms were. She's like, trust me, I've been through all this before personally. I have personal experience. She goes, you got to watch your nuts. You got to watch. I don't even remember what she fucking told me. I have to go back and talk to her. Caffeine and nuts. Those were the two things I remember saying. My daughter had like 20 different things. Yeah, I know my daughter too. I go over there and I'm like, oh my goodness, look at, you know, and you just smell. And she gets really bad migraines. And I've been telling her for years, I was like, you got to really pay attention to the smells that you put on yourself and that you're around, because our family just has a history of allergies with stuff like that. And it takes you a while to identify it. When you're young, I was the same way, wearing Fahrenheit and Jacquard and, you know, the Vanilla Ice freaking Christmas tree air fresheners. And man, that stuff will kill me right now. The very worst for me is patchouli oil and Axe body spray. Those two right there, and incense, any type of incense, and flowers and cologne, fabric softener, some detergents. I mean, the list goes on and on. Do you normally talk to random women about your nuts? I knew that was coming. I have one that hangs too, but it's also suction cups at the bottom to hold it to the wall. Hey, to each their own, you know. Me, there's just no way. I can't do it. I'm over it. I'd be afraid it'd fall on my toes now. You've never been allergic to anything? Oh, you're lucky. You know. I get it, and I hear, you know, when you hear people, oh, I'm allergic to peanuts, I'm allergic to gluten, I'm allergic to this, allergic to that. I mean, those people probably don't. They probably just think they're allergic because they were told that. I don't know. Maybe they are, maybe they aren't. Me, I just know I'm allergic because I get super sick, like immediately. Even Lysol. If I'm around Lysol, man, I get a fucking headache. All right, let's get to some X-Files before it gets too late. Let me see here. Where's Steen do at? Tom Brady's predictions.
10 through 6. I got Texans, Bears, Patriots, Chargers, and Rams. The margin between 10 and 1 is smaller than it's been all season, so seeing your team back here means they're right in the mix. We're heading into week 17, and we know who the good teams are. What we're going to figure out over the next month is who the great teams are. We got Moomin at the top spot yet again, and I think it just shows how many teams have a real shot this year at hoisting the Lombardi. At 5, it's the 49ers following Brock Purdy's masterclass on Monday night. Everyone has been looking to write this team off with all their injury trouble all year, but the offense, they're hitting their stride at the right time, and they've got that playoff experience on the roster San Francisco is on the rise. The Broncos slide to the 4th spot after a somewhat surprising home loss to Jacksonville. But given their body of work, it's hard to see this as anything more than an outlier performance from this defense, and I don't think anyone needs to reach for the panic button at Mile High. The Bills won their 4th straight against the Browns on Sunday to keep the AFC East race alive for another week. It wasn't pretty, but come on. Is it ever pretty when you're playing on the lake in Cleveland in late December? Buffalo got the win. Myles Garrett didn't destroy anyone, and they can just get out of town and keep it moving. The Jags hit their season high at number 2 after knocking off the top-ranked Broncos on the road. Building on 6 straight wins, Jacksonville has a chance to wrap up the AFC South against the Colts this weekend. Could they even swipe the top seed in the AFC? That's a question I didn't think I'd be asking 2 months ago. And rising to the number 1 spot, it's Seattle. I can admit, I was a little slow to come around on this team, but they've proven their worth, winning their 5th straight in a Game of the Year thriller against the Rams on Thursday night. The only question surrounding this team might be those uniforms. Are you feeling the Oregon vibes? Let me know. I'll keep thinking about it. I hope everyone has a great Christmas. Surrounded by friends and family, we're headed off to Buffalo for a great showdown against the Eagles on Sunday. If this gets 1 million likes, I'll jump through a burning table before the game. Hang on. No, deal's off. You sickos will actually make that happen somehow. Happy holidays, everyone.
Good old Tom Brady has always been so fake when he does commercials and ads. Yep. Isn't Brady the deflator cheater? Deflategate. Yes. Do anything to win. Him and Bill Belichick together, you know. Go Philly. Yeah, where's Steendu at? Now, it is going to be interesting to see how it plays out. I don't think it's going to be Seattle. I have a feeling it's going to be Denver myself. Did he even put Philly on here? Wait, is this? Who is this? Oh, no, that's the Chargers and that's the Rams. Brady doesn't even have Philly on here, huh? How is that? But yeah, that was debunked. Stoney, motherfucking Santa Tony. What's going down? Co-train knows. Well, listen, I'm willing to bet on. I'm willing to put money on Philly, and I will. I'll put money on Philly just to piss off Theendu. Matter of fact, I might. Let's say that somehow Philly beats Buffalo, eliminates them in the playoffs. I don't know if that's possible. I don't know how it all works, but if that was possible, I'll show my face on Theendu's show with a Philly hat on. I'll just jump on. I won't tell him. I'll just jump on his show when he drops the link and pop on with a Philly hat on. He'll end up. He won't know what to do. The spread was so big they didn't put it up. Hi, Cheryl. Thank God. God bless. Merry Christmas. Yes. Yeah. Why isn't Philly on there? Because when you ask. Let me ask ChatGPT. What are the odds for the top 10 teams to win the Super Bowl this year? Because for the last few weeks, they had Philly at number 5, I think. And they still do. Oh, no. Yeah. Philly's at number 5 at plus 1,000. Whoa, dang. The Seahawks went way down to 500, plus 500. The Rams are still the favorite as far as, they're plus 400. Eagles are plus 1,000. The Bills are plus 850. New England plus 1,000. Jacksonville, who he's got number 2, is plus 1,200. Green Bay plus 1,600. So you get 10-1 on your money if you take Philly. Bills are giving 2. Oh, is the line out already for the games? Here, let me go to I won't be able to show it on here, but I'm going to go to my phone. I'll read it. Thindu. Where are you, Thindu? We're talking about Buffalo. Donna, good morning. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to you. Let's see here. College Pro football. All right. Cowboys and Commanders. Cowboys are favored by 8.5. Or you could take the money line at minus 500. Detroit and Minnesota. Detroit is favored by 7.5. The over's 43. The Broncos and the Chiefs. Damn. The Broncos are favored by 13 with an over of 36.5. That's crazy. Okay. Or you could take the money line at minus 1,000 or plus 650 on that game. Crazy town. And that game, oh, there's games today. What? Those games are today. I didn't think there was any games today. Are you guys realizing how slow I am sometimes, how dense I am? Excuse me. All right, so those are the 3 games today. And they're all at different times. You got the Cowboys and Commanders are at 10 a.m. This is Pacific time, so 10 a.m. Pacific. The Lions and the Vikings are at 1:30, which is 4:30 East Coast. And then the Broncos and Chiefs are at 5:15, which is 8:15 East Coast. Okay, well, that's weird. So there's games today, but there's no games tomorrow. But then there's games on Saturday. Now, Saturday, it is the Texans and Chargers. Chargers are favored by 2. The Ravens and the Packers. Packers are favored by 3.5. The Cardinals and the Bengals. Bengals are favored by 7. Seahawks and the Panthers. That's going to be a tough one. The Seahawks are favored by 7. Steelers and the Browns. Steelers are favored by 3. Saints and the Titans. So, this is a full schedule. I'm reading all these fucking games. I don't need to be reading all of these fucking games. Let's see here. Jaguars are favored by 6.5 over the Colts. Patriots are favored by 13.5 over the Jets. Dang, the Giants and the Raiders, 2 sorry teams. Raiders are favored by 1. That's crazy. Who in their right mind would bet on the Raiders to be favored this year? The Eagles and the Bills. The Bills are favored by 1. Dang. It is going to be a fun game. So does that have playoff? Let me ask ChatGPT. The game on Saturday against the Bills and the Eagles, does that have playoff ramifications? I mean, I'm sure it does, but I'm an idiot. When it comes to football, I know that. It says yes. It absolutely has meaningful playoff ramifications. Buffalo has already clinched a playoff spot, but is still fighting for higher seeding in the AFC and a shot at the AFC East title. If the Bills win out and the Patriots lose one of their remaining games, Buffalo could overtake New England for the division crown. A win over an NFC contender like the Eagles also boosts their confidence and profile as they head into the postseason. The Eagles have already clinched the NFC East division, so their playoff berth is secure. However, the game still affects seeding in the NFC. The Eagles can climb as high as the number 2 seed with the win and some help elsewhere. A loss might drop them lower in the NFC pecking order and potentially make their playoff path tougher. Both teams will play their best. It's a very important win for the Bills. And the Eagles, they want to win, but I don't think they have as much incentive to win as the Bills. I could be wrong, but they still have an incentive to win because isn't it the lower ranked you are, the higher rank you have to play? So you're already in it. Buffalo needs it. Not going to happen ever. See, we already got the where's Thiedu at? We need him this morning. We need to give him some shit. Did anybody text him? Hold on. Merry Christmas, guys. I call Thiedu by his real name in the text, so I'm going to type that part. We need you on the panel. We are talking about Buffalo against Philly. He ain't gonna answer. Maybe he will. Tommy, it's going down, sir. How are you this morning? He's driving around Buffalo looking for Tim Hortons that is open. Yeah, he is. Yeah, if you don't have coffee or weed or whatever your, luxuries are this morning, you're pretty much shit out of luck. I do think the weed stores open up in the morning, but, and I'm saying that because I'm one of those people. Okay, not gonna lie. Sitting here with no weed. I probably got 2 more cups of coffee. I got no homemade creamer. I don't have shit. I'm slacking over here. I don't know how I got myself into this situation, but I've been too busy working, and I look around my house and I don't have anything. Dispensary is open at 9 to 9. Yeah, and they're going to have some good deals. So I don't know about you, but I'll be pulling in there. I will be pulling in there right when they open up. This is one of these days when I really miss my mom because she would be I could go over there. I call her up I couldn't go over there right now because it's 3:18, but I could go over there at 5 and go smoke some weed with her. Thiedu, good morning, sir. There you are. Dun 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 dun. I don't know if you heard what we were talking about, but we were talking about the Bills.
Uniforms are you Bears, Patriots, Chargers, and Rams. The margin between 10 and 1 is smaller than it's been all season, so seeing your team back here means they're right in the mix. We're heading into week 17, and we know who the good teams are. What we're going to figure out over the next month is who the great teams are. We got movement at the top spot yet again, and I think it just shows how many teams have a real shot this year at hoisting the Lombardi. At 5, it's the 49ers following Brock Purdy's masterclass on Monday night. Everyone has been looking to write this team off with all their injury trouble all year, but the offense, they're hitting their stride at the right time, and they've got that playoff experience on the roster. San Francisco is on the rise. The Broncos slide to the 4 spot after a somewhat surprising home loss to Jacksonville, but given their body of work, it's hard to see this as anything more than an outlier performance from this defense, and I don't think anyone needs to reach for the panic button at Mile High. The Bills won their 4th straight against the Browns on Sunday to keep the AFC East race alive for another week. It wasn't pretty, but come on. Is it ever pretty when you're playing on the lake in Cleveland in late December? Buffalo got the win. Myles Garrett didn't destroy anyone, and they can just get out of town and keep it moving. The Jags hit their season high at number 2 after knocking off the top-ranked Broncos on the road. Building on 6 straight wins, Jacksonville has a chance to wrap up the AFC South against the Colts this weekend. Could they even swipe the top seed in the AFC? That's a question I didn't think I'd be asking 2 months ago. And rising to the number 1 spot, it's Seattle. I can admit, I was a little slow to come around on this team, but they've proven their worth, winning their 5th straight in a Game of the Year thriller against the Rams on Thursday night. The only question surrounding this team might be those uniforms. Are you feeling the Oregon vibes? Let me know. I'll keep thinking about it. I hope everyone has a great Christmas. Surrounded by friends and family, we're headed off to Buffalo for a great showdown against the Eagles on Sunday. If this gets 1 million likes, I'll jump through a burning table before the game. Hang on. No, deal's off. You sickos will actually make that happen somehow. Happy holidays, everyone.
I'm making some coffee real quick. Hang tight. So there's the Tom Brady predictions, and Buffalo is at 850, plus 850 for the Super Bowl. Seattle's plus 500. But who was favored in the Buffalo game again? I can't remember. Was it Buffalo or Philly? It's only 1 point, right? So that's wild. So probably going to put $5 on Philly. I don't know if I should bet $5 on Philly so I can just hope to win money, or put $5 on Buffalo to jinx them. Which way to? Because I bet on the Browns and they almost did it. So I think if I bet on Buffalo, maybe that. I don't know. I'll have to figure it out. Let's see here. Sweet. So all Hortons are closed today. Tim Hortons. Are they really? You would think that at least a couple coffee shops would be open. We don't have Dunkin' Donuts around here. We have shitty Starbucks and Dutch Bros. Now, Dutch Bros is good, yes. That's if I see a Dutch Bros, anywhere in the vicinity of, like, if I'm doing an event or something, that's where I'm going. I do like Dutch Bros. Unless I find like a mom and pop shop on the way, I might go there, but Dutch Bros all day long. And, they come out and take your order at your car window. So it's just more convenient. You always have a lot of cars in there, but they're quick, and their coffees they're a little on the sweet side, but they're good. They are good. My favorite coffee, besides my own, is it's just a little tiny thing. It's called JJ's Java. And this lady, she has a pink truck. She does coffee. She does those. Have you guys ever had that acai? You know what I'm talking about? Acai, the acai berry. She makes those acai bowls. Oh my God. If you guys have never had this stuff, hold on. I'm not even joking. You have not lived until you've had this berry. Okay, an acai bowl is a sweet Brazilian snack food from Para and Amazonas. It is a dish made with the frozen and mashed fruit of the acai palm, described as having an earthy or creamy taste. Its texture is granular before blending and has a tartness from its acidity, creating a flavorful taste. And she makes them. She orders it from Webstront, and then she does this. She puts the strawberries and the bananas and a couple fruits on top with some granola and honey and blueberries, and then there's a little bit of honey on top of it. Oh my gosh! And she only charges $5 for a bowl. I'm just telling you right now. You got to have you got to try Huckleberry, and you got to try the acai, or Ossia, whatever it is. It is so good. I prefer the blended. Mocha. Yes, I could have coconut milk in mine. I like a white chocolate with coconut milk, and so I can get all cramped up. Why I like to drink white chocolate and get cramped up, I have no idea, but it does it to me every time. Let's see here. It was nothing. I wish nothing was open on Sunday like when we were kids. Yeah, I kind of agree with that. There are towns out there like Blaine, Washington, which is up by the Canadian border. You can't even wash a car on Sunday up there, type of thing. But yeah, and I agree. The liquor stores used to be closed. You know, we used to have like some integrity and class and just tradition, and everybody was kind of in lockstep when it came to stuff like that. You should be fucking drinking on Sunday. You know what I mean? Now, maybe having a glass of wine on a Sunday dinner, that's something. But yeah, nobody should be going to the liquor store for Crown Royal on Sunday. Get that shit on the weekend. Sunday is the day when people are going to church, and we shouldn't even have to worry about people fucking driving around with a bottle of fucking tequila in their car on a Sunday. But it's the world we live in. A bowl of Wheaties over here. Well, Wheaties are good. Yeah, Asaya. Cheryl, you got to try it. You got to try it. It is. The dispensary here has a Christmas cappuccino blend. The dispensary. Oh. So you're talking about weed. A Christmas cappuccino blend. Well, yeah, no, I mean, I'm all for that. There's some very good coffee strains out there. Coltrane probably knows. And it can be hit or miss. It could be a sativa strain, or it could be an indica strain. I'm trying to think of the last coffee one I had. But there's a few of them. There's even one, believe it or not, that's a coffee limeade by Lifted. That's really good. You get some interesting flavor combinations when it comes to weed. And people think they just throw names out there for weed, but there's actually a science behind how they come up with the names for weed. They use a flavor wheel. You want to start talking science about marijuana and cannabis, and you look at the terpenes that are in marijuana. Terpenes are what gives marijuana its flavor, and even it's not just THC that gets you high. It is the terpenes that also get you high. And terpenes are things like alpha pinene and beta carotene and limonene and myrcene. Myrcene is the main one that's in marijuana. Myrcene is also the main terpene in orange juice and mangoes. So if you've ever heard there's a myth, kind of, it's not a myth, that that you drink orange juice and then smoke weed, you get higher, and that's because of the myrcene that is in the orange juice. And we'll quit talking about that because we have Thindu on the stage. Good morning, sir. How are you?
Good, buddy. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you.
What's going down?
Not a whole lot. Had a fun evening with the granddaughter yesterday. It went from being the greatest Christmas ever to it being the worst night of her life because her mom said she could only open a couple presents, and then she snapped out of it, and it was the best Christmas ever. And you know how it goes with that kind of stuff. But it was so much fun. We got lots of video and good times. Very
good stuff. Yeah, here too. I'm so tired.
Oh. I bet. Yeah, it's draining, man. It's so draining.
It is. Wait a minute here. This is what slept on me all night. Right here. Okay? I couldn't move. I'll tell you.
That's awesome.
Yep. Right on top of me. I couldn't even move. Oh, yeah.
That's awesome. So really the Jimmy Hortons are closed?
Every Hortons is closed, right? I think there might be a couple open. I got to try to find one right now. I'm going through withdrawals and everything. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's no bueno. I mean, I can operate without weed. Like it's not my favorite thing to do. It's not a problem. When it comes to coffee, I can't do it. I don't want to do it. You know, I need my coffee.
You know what? You know what's strange? I woke up this morning now. Of course, I'm not home. So you can't do everything you do.
I'm sorry. What was
First
that?
thing, you know, when you sleep somewhere else, you can't do what you normally do when you're at home, out of respect. Correct?
Oh, you're not at home.
So every time I want to do something, I got to go outside. Every time I want to do this, I got to do this. Every time I got to do this, I got to do this. It gets a little draining after a day.
Yeah.
You know,
imagine
I
that.
mean, you're doing this, you're playing, then you got to get up and go outside, take a break. Then you got to go do this, then you're cooking, then you got to go outside, take a break. I'm exhausted. I laid down last night. The first thing Vito did was jump on the couch with me. I'm like, oh, no. But what are you going to do?
Right.
What
Yeah,
are you
no,
going to do?
I totally get that. I mean, even being over there last night, and then my ex came over, and so her and her son were staying the night over there, and yeah, it just, you know, it's the holidays, and I was just so thankful to go home and get in my own bed, you know.
Oh, I can't wait till tonight. I can't wait.
Yeah, no place like home, that's for sure.
No, especially at this age. I just got my first sip of coffee. I didn't even want to, you know, have a cigarette. I didn't want nothing. I had to have a sip of coffee this morning. Amazing. Like you said, the hell with everything else. Just get me a cup of coffee.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I remember a few years ago, both my older kids were living in Florida, and when I went down there to visit, I sent coffee with my weed in it ahead of time, and I made sure that they had it, and it was already there waiting for me because I did not want to fuck around when I got down there. I don't want to be driving around and waking up in the morning being all sick and withdrawn, and I'm not doing that shit. I need my coffee. I want my weed. Leave me alone.
Right.
And
that was,
you know,
it was the same thing here this morning. She had the coffee ready, but you're like, I'm ready to get in that car. You know me, go right to Hortons, get my coffee, play my numbers, do this, do that. You know, we're high energy in the morning, us guys over here.
Oh yeah, big time.
You know that. I mean, I've been up since 4:30.
It's an unexplainable thing. Coffee. It's like, you know, it's just part of us. If we don't have it, we're not the same humans. You know?
Right. So, oh, I get a disposition. I get a bad disposition if I don't have coffee, my man.
Oh yeah. Well, you know, I don't even really know what mine is because knock on wood, I haven't had to test it for very long. You know what I mean? Like I get my coffee somehow. Did you play the Powerball yesterday?
Yeah.
Anything?
Nope. I got to check. I don't think any of my numbers are matching. So
I went and I haven't played the lotto in years, but I did. I spent $6 on 2 lines, and I don't know when it went up to $3 a line. I don't know how that works.
I'm done. I'm sorry, God.
No, I didn't get one number, not even one. So
after Sunday, I can't. I don't know how many more times I'm going to say this. Again, I lost on one team Sunday. Incredible. No, I don't know.
You see what Coach Rain says here? If I don't have coffee, it's no big deal.
People are different. Yeah, but Coach Rain, if we took something else away from you in the morning, you'd be a miserable motherfucker all day. Stop it.
Yeah.
You can't take the person's, us, it's coffee. What are you going to do?
Coffee is king. Yeah. And, but you unless you're an ALV drinks tea. But,
Right.
So, and a lot of people do drink tea. There's a lot of people that don't drink coffee. And I kind of am jealous of them because I don't know how they do it.
Me neither.
Arkansas wins $1.8 billion Christmas Powerball. A single ticket in Arkansas won the massive Powerball on Christmas Eve, making it the second largest U.S. history lotto prize ever.
Wow.
Yeah, one guy in our.
It was so crazy yesterday. I was on a live show yesterday, and then my phone died. That was
Oh,
the first time. That was the first time it ever happened to me. Well, it was late. I was using my phone all night. I wasn't paying attention. So, you know how when the battery's dead, it's dead.
Yeah. Well, that's
Nothing you
crazy
can do.
because I was dealing with the same thing yesterday. My phone didn't die, but it got way down there, and I was thinking to myself, like, man, it's just doesn't seem like it should be this low. I don't know. Weird.
Right.
T just ain't gonna work here. No, not over here either, Tommy.
No, it doesn't. You know what? He's right. That time, a couple times I was sick. The one time I went to work, I got a large tea before work. By 7:15, I couldn't function. Both my guys were like, "What's wrong with you?" I'm like, "Nothing." "No, there's something wrong with you." I'm like, "Nothing." And Andy, my Goomba, he goes, "What are you drinking this morning?" I said, "Hot tea." "Why?" "Leave me alone." "Because of my stomach." "That's why. You're drinking tea."
Yeah.
And I looked at him. I said, "So what?" He goes, "Tea and coffee ain't the same thing, they do." I'm like, "You know what? You're right, you moron." But I never thought about, I didn't think it would, tea has caffeine. You don't think about all that stuff, at the time.
Right.
But he's right. It's a different everything.
Yeah. No, 100%. It is. And you don't want to, you have to mentally prepare yourself to make a change. Like,
Yes.
Tommy says our phones are dying because Osada's sending 10,000 messages an hour. That's fair.
That could be true. Yeah, that could be true. Yeah.
PT says, I bought a Powerball in Rhode Island yesterday. My niece made fun of me. She said, I thought you were a math teacher. Yeah, no, it's true.
Hey, listen, the bottom line is you got to be in it to win it, folks. So if you don't have a ticket, there's no chance for you.
Yeah. Well, that's why we all, the people that normally don't buy it, like myself, that's why we bought it. That's what I told myself yesterday. I was like, you got to at least give yourself a chance. Go buy, you got a couple bucks, go buy a ticket. So I did.
Right. You know what? I seen a post yesterday, and I'm going to go by this post. It was a great post. It was about making new memories. And you know what? It was an outstanding post. At the end of this year, that's all I'm going to do. After just what happened this last week and everything, 2 weeks, and reading that post yesterday, and you should think about that too. I'm not going to think about the past anymore. I'm not going to try to strive and live off the past anymore like I do. And I do it a lot because I got to just remember the new memories are right in front of me right now. And if I don't make these new memories now, there ain't going to be any. Think about that. So,
no, it's 100% true. And that's why I'm going on this cruise for my granddaughter's birthday in March, because I've never been on a cruise before. I have no desire to go on a cruise, but I'm doing it for memories.
Yeah. I mean, after this week, I told her she better get a couple days off. I got to get out of here. I got to get out. I got to get some air.
Yeah, you for sure, because you do. I mean, especially at our age, man, you have to be able to hold a thought in your head for a certain amount of time to be normal. You have to be, for me personally, I need to be able to think. I cannot be around people forever and just constantly listen to somebody else's drama, listen to other people's lives. I need to be able to think for myself, worry about myself, concentrate on my business, do my thing. And you need solitude in order to do that.
Right. So I mean, And don't get me wrong. I mean, I love it. I cherish it. I love my memories. You know, it's all that, but I don't know. It just hit me like a hammer.
Right. Well, it's an equal balance because you got to really take care of yourself when we're at our age. You know, you got to be selfish, like get your rest, and we need all that. We need our naps. We need all these kind of things. But at the same time, like you said, the memories are so important. So it's like you focus really hard on take care of yourself, and you focus really hard on building those memories. When you're a grandparent, like we are, you know, I mean.
No, I know you. I'm pleased. I told you I'm having major problems with this retirement and everything else right now.
Coach Nate says, speaking of memories, when you come in here, fucker.
What'd you say?
Coach Nate says, speaking of memories, when are you coming here, fucker?
I'm glad he just said that because I've decided just to get in the car. That's the only way I'm comfortable and the only way I could do it. Just get in the car and drive to Connecticut, Massachusetts. That's all. Wherever I want to go. So I've been really thinking, you know, I had Jersey. I got to see. I mean, I'm so torn as a content creator. I have New Jersey, I have Philadelphia, and I have Connecticut. You know, 3 major spots I want to go. I don't know which one I want to go to first. I don't know which. So after this week, I'm just going to get in that car. I hope she could get some time off, and we're going to just take our trip. Not our trip, our ride. So, you know, I want to be in front of Gianni Catalano's store Monday morning, okay?
Yeah. That would
How funny would that be? How funny would that be? Imagine his face.
Yeah.
So, yeah, frig the airplanes, frig all that. I told her, you come with me, we'll get in the car, I'll rifle it. Let's go. So.
Be fun to take a road trip.
Yeah, that's what I need. That's what I need, Goomba. I need some air. I got to get out. So.
Yeah, I'm going to come over there one of these days, too. I want to go see Slim in North Carolina, go see Trock up in Rhode Island, come see you guys.
Yep.
Tommy,
That's what I'm waiting for, Stoney. I got to retire first.
Well, retire and become a smoke pot, become a greeter at Walmart. Well, you can't become a greeter at Walmart because they're doing a 3-year hiring freeze. They're not hiring anybody for 3 years.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and all the truck drivers across the country are losing their jobs within the next 4 years because it's all going automated. We're talking Amazon, FedEx, USPS, all those guys. And now Walmart's just announced a 3-year hiring freeze. And they're trying to say it's the HB1 visas, but that's not what it is. They're going fully automated. So this country's in a lot of trouble when it comes to jobs. I don't know how that's all going to work out. And apparently the next presidency, they're going to be the next election, they're going to be talking about universal basic income again. That's going to be the new running platform where they're going to just give us money. You know, like they talk about the $2,000 stimulus check. This is just going to be a monthly check of like $1,000 a month to every American because there's no jobs. I don't know how. Yeah, it's crazy. You know, I mean, it's scary. Like, there's a lot of people out there that can't find work right now. You know.
I know.
So those of us that do have jobs, I was telling somebody yesterday, my buddy Rich, I was like, dude, you got to hold on to your job for dear life. Because what are you going to do if you lose that job? You know.
I know. That's why I feel bad for ALV, man.
Yeah.
It's tough. It's tough when you lose your job at this age, man.
100%.
You know.
Toro, good morning, Merry Christmas, and Mustang Mike, good morning, Merry Christmas. And
right, Coltrane. How are they going to find guys like me in Coltrane? They're going to be in big trouble.
Yeah.
Big trouble.
They need to make a huge push towards recruiting the young guys to the trades. And then they also need to make a huge push to create jobs for a lot of people that are in this country right now. But if they're gonna make all these changes with the AI and stuff like that, they need to, you know. But for me personally, like I just feel so blessed that I found my little niche because, I don't, at least for right now, I don't need a job. I can just make my own money my way.
Right.
There's a lot of power in that. You know what I mean? So,
Well, listen, buddy. I know. Same here with Dean. If things go, I just, we did side work. We hustled. Absolutely. There was never no work. Never.
Well, you gotta do what you gotta do sometimes.
That's it.
And ALB, he's in a lot better situation than you and me would be in, because he's got finance and stuff like that. Me, it takes 3 days, and I'm completely in the red. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
The bills aren't getting paid. If the money stops coming in over here, it's fucking game over.
Right.
I got to keep it moving over here.
Right. Well, I'm at the end of the road, my friend. So it's, like I said, I'm scared with that retirement. And I always believed when you feel good and you're healthy, man, there ain't no reason to stop. There ain't no reason for Dean to stop right now. I don't know. I'm just confused. I am. I'm so worried about stopping, and I've seen what happens to so many men and women when they retire. I got all that darkness in me.
No, 100%, and it is something. Yeah, no, you got, and just my opinion is like, there's got to be something to look forward to, wake up to in the morning.
Right, Sada.
They feel like, oh, I worked my whole life, I deserve to retire, and you do, absolutely, but deserving to retire and being happy in retirement are two different things.
Right.
It can lead to serious problems, serious depression if you don't have it figured out when you retire.
Yes, you said it, Goomba.
Yeah.
I mean, you said it. Serious depression, serious problems. Could be a serious divorce. It could be a serious anything around the corner there if you're not ready.
Yeah, you can become a prisoner in your own home because, then the friction is there. There's no place to go because now you don't have the job to escape to. And then it just becomes a disaster. And then, no. And so that's why for me, personally, like, I don't have any retirement. I don't have 401k. I don't have none of that stuff. So there is no other option for me but just to keep working. And I'm completely okay with that because I always say that I'm flying with no landing gear.
Right.
It's just the way it's going to be with me. I'm just going to fly until I die. I don't, it's just the way it's going to work out. Unless, who knows? Maybe I'll get rich someday. I don't know. But
listen,
I'm just flying until I die because I don't want to retire. I found something that I love to do, and I'm going to have to make some adjustments as I get older because when I'm a geriatric, I'm not going to be able to set my tent up myself. Right. And I'm not going to want to be out in the rain and shit. So I will make some adjustments. But the point is that I have something that I love to do. And I watch these, like these Sicilian women that are 90 years old that are still making pasta with their bare hands. And I'm like, if they can do that, I can do it. And I'm only 52 years old.
There you go.
It just, I'm blessed that I have found something that I know that it doesn't matter if I'm 52 or I'm 82, I'm still going to love what I do. Right. And a lot of people can't say that. And I think that's the fear. You don't just want, especially during shit to watch on TV, the thought of sitting on the couch and watching TV, maybe that might actually be like enticing 20, 30 years ago. But today, what is there to watch? You know what I'm saying? You're going to turn into a trans if you watch TV.
Well, that's the whole thing, Osada. Like this last month, everybody knows what Dean wanted to do, and I did it this month. And it's like now, like I just said, I need some air. I looked around the house. I fixed everything. I got everything taken care of. I got this done. I got this done. Dean never sits around. So the one day I'm sitting there, I'm like, well, what am I doing? I'm like, I know I'm waiting for Christmas. I know everything's good, and my body just like took over, just wanted to get up and just start working. It was crazy, because in my mind, through all these years, that's what I was trained myself for. Everything's good at the home, Tindu. Get to work.
Right.
You can't go on vacation, Tindu. You ain't got no money. Don't go on vacation. Go on vacation. You got the money. Okay. That's how I've been my whole life here. So now, like I said, I'm, 60, feeling good. I don't want to retire. All of a sudden you wake up, you're like, no. So, and then the whole retirement thing was for Enzo. I'm only going to retire for this baby.
Right.
Because you hear these people up here, and I got over the hump about the daycare. Okay. You hear these people up here, my kid'll never go to Okay, listen to me. I almost went after 2 people last week because of that topic. I had 2 people, yeah, my kid'll never go into daycare. Do you realize what you are saying? And these are 2 of Tindu's best friends. Both of them around my age. And not either one of them would be able to do that. They can't even take care of themselves.
Daycare is very good for kids, in my opinion.
We have 3 people working here like animals making money. Okay. And then when they have a baby, what do you think? Everybody's just going to quit their fucking life? It's hard. It's hard.
Yeah. And you and me, and I can't speak for you, but I'll speak for myself. Like I'm not equipped to, if my granddaughter was to spend all day with me, then her education level would suffer because all we're going to do is what she wants to do, because I don't have it in me to be that person. Like, I get walked over. I get stepped on, chewed up and spit out. That's what happens to me when I'm over there. I'm the grandpa. That's what I do. Now it takes a certain type of person to say without getting emotional and know how to deal with those temper tantrums and get them to, focus and, clean that up when you're done. And, you think I can get my granddaughter to clean something up? That ain't happening. Well, I'll go over and clean it up. I'm just a pushover when it comes to that stuff. So daycare is very good for the kids. Now here in Washington, you got to be careful because of all the weirdness that goes on. But
right. When you need it, you need it. It's like oxygen. You need oxygen to breathe every day. You just can't shut your life down. What I'm saying.
My daughter works full time, and then she's got me, she's got her mom. We all chip in to make it work, so she can work full time. She has her own apartment, pays her own bills. So yesterday, Christmas Eve, my daughter's off. Her house is a disaster. She's got people coming over, and daycare's still open. So my daughter takes her to daycare. And and she spends a day at daycare, which Milo was perfectly fine with, and my daughter was able to get her stuff done. And now, had she not done that, you got to take care of Milo all day. The house stays a disaster. Nobody's happy. The life is falling apart. It's a godsend to have that daycare there.
These people, us hardworking people realize that. In reality, we recognize that. Okay. What I was talking about earlier, it's just people's egos and pride talking. And, I got over listening to that. So
now, and I am in search of somebody that, there are people out there that have the luxury and they have the ability to be that person. And, I'm looking for people like that to help take care of my granddaughter. The person because there are people out there that don't need to take their kids to daycare because they have that total. They're basically a teacher and everything all in one. You know what I mean?
Well, you got to remember too. People have help, Osada.
Yeah, you need help.
People have help. They have. Okay, Tindu, I don't have one fucking person to help me. Okay, Everybody's dead. There's nobody around. I never expected any of this. Okay? Last year at this time, Enzo was sick. My girls couldn't call off of work. Neither of them.
Yeah.
This baby was deathly sick. What's Dean Dude do? I call in. Okay? And yeah, the one that makes the most money called in. I spent 2 days, the 24th and the 25th, with this kid. Wait, the 23rd and the 24th. I spent 12 hours all day long, each day with this baby. 8 months old, 7 months old. Do you know what that took? To wake up at 60 years old and then come here for 2 days with a newborn baby in your hands? Yeah, I hope Tommy Stiggs is listening to this. Okay. After those 2 days, well, after the second day, I cried my eyes out on the way home. I slept for 3 days. Are you kidding me? Okay, I did it for the baby.
Yeah. No, it's
Okay. But I
wild.
was shot. I was shot. You. Oh,
I
people
don't know
don't
about you.
know.
One of the worst feelings for me personally, and I'm just gonna be completely honest, is
Yeah.
that when it's you know, I always think of like, fuck, Jason, like you're it. You're the highest. You're the grandpa. You're the one that, you know, like there's nobody higher than you. So, you know, I think to myself, like, that's kind of pathetic because the situation that I'm in, you know what I mean? Like, and so
Yeah.
I try as hard as I can. But it is, you know, we can only do so much.
Right.
And it's humbling and it's kind of fucking, it's depressing. I don't know how to put it to words, but same thing. I didn't expect to be in this situation. I'm going to make the best of it, but it's
Exactly.
very stressful, and it's very whatever makes you want to cry. It's that.
Yep.
I mean,
Yep.
it's very saddening sometimes. Just even think about your kids and, you know, stuff like that. It's emotional, you know.
So I sit here. Are you kidding me? I sit here. What's he going to do without me? What's going to happen? Am I going to be here? Is this going to happen? I never thought like this before. Are you out of your mind? The things I'm thinking now, I would have never thought. Oh my God! I'll tell you what. Life is something else. Life is something. If you live long enough in this lifetime, it's amazing. It is amazing. It is.
Yeah, it's
You
very
know.
rewarding to be a grandfather. You know, and in a sense too, thing, dude. I think that it's making us better people. And I heard this guy, and it really made a lot of sense to me. This guy that I know a couple weeks ago, he was telling me that he always goes to this elementary school, and he's a Native American guy, and he plays drums at a tribal school. He takes this drum down there and he plays a tribal. And he said that he always feels so. He feels like he's walking on air when he comes out of there. And he says that he always thought, at first he thought it was because God was like giving him this energy to do this. That's why he felt like he was walking there. But then he realized that it was the kids. He says that it's the kids that are giving him the energy. That when he plays the drum, it's the energy coming out of the kids. That's why he says he feels like he's walking on air coming out of that. And so when
he's right,
I'm like, yes, there's that, because that's where that, when you sit there on the edge of your bed and you just feel like crying because it's the emotion just hits you, it's because of the energy that's coming through your grandchild. You know what I'm saying? It's
yes. What did I tell you last week? I was walking on air through these department stores and all these stores buying boys stuff. I never did this. You know, this is all my father wanted, was a grandson, was a boy. Now I got it. It's like there's mornings I wake up, I feel 18 again. You know, until I get to the mirror. You know, it's all over with then. You know, they give you that energy. They give you that boost, these kids, these babies. Okay?
A reason to live. I mean, Cheryl said it right there. It's
a reason to live, yes.
and I know you have this thought too, and it's weird because I think to myself a lot of times, you're like, dude, why do you even think like that? But it's like you think about if you were gone, if something happened to them, and the whole
Yep.
thing is so emotional. It's like it's just very emotional. It is. It's life, man. It's like when you have a grandkid, even though you don't ask for it, you are given it's a second life. It's a wind in your sails, and
Yes.
again, you're off on the ocean sailing again, whether you like it or not.
Yeah, like you said, whether you like it or not, with the life preserver on or not. Right.
Yeah, and
we never did this. I never did this with my kid. There's some of the things I've done. I've never did this. I was so ignorant and incoherent and working 2-3 jobs. I didn't care. Amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah. No, 100%. It is. It's a game changer for sure.
Yep. When life is flipped right around on you is when your daughter comes out and tells you, Dad, you were never that way with me.
Right.
Well, honey, the circumstances are a little different. You know what I mean? You know what I mean.
Oh, 100%. But then, I look at my daughter and then I see how, and she's very good with my granddaughter. But I remember my daughter complaining about how I was towards her when she was a little girl, and I see her saying the exact same thing, even worse, to my granddaughter. You know what I mean? Like puts her in her place real quick. Like she's 3 now, and my daughter calls her a three-nager. Because like I said yesterday, it went from being the best Christmas ever to the worst day of her life just because she couldn't open a present. You know what I mean?
Right.
You got those little attitudes on them, and and that's what it goes back to the daycare thing. Because with me, I'm not equipped to handle the meltdowns like that. I got to have somebody there as backup.
Right.
Close vicinity. You can't leave me by myself with a 3-year-old that's going to abuse me for 5 hours. You know what I mean? I need some help here. Somebody's going to, you know what I mean?
Right.
So
you got to remember one thing, and I'm only going to say this one time to you. I am the disciplinary factor over here. If you have to walk into the bathroom or go in the basement and cry, that's what we do.
Right.
You have to discipline. When I raise my voice, this kid stops all motion, Osada, and his head turns right to Dindu. When I raise my voice, and when the girls stop, the baby just looks.
He just knows.
It just knows. Yep. And if he hears Papa's mad, that's Dindu. That's what I did with my daughter. That's what my father did with me, my grandfather. That's the one thing I will never let go of. I will not be a complete sucker to him. I will be the disciplinary, whether it's the bad guy. I want this kid to learn. I don't care. So if I got to go in my room and cry, if I got to go in the attic and cry where he don't see me, that's okay. So the one day I yelled at him, he did the lip and started crying. You know how long I cried for? 5 minutes. Okay. I said, you did it. Okay. The emotions just pour out of you.
Big time. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh yeah. We had a little fight, me and my granddaughter, a few months ago, because she was giving me an attitude, and I tried to explain it to her, and it just wasn't working. And so, I got upset, and I mean, I didn't scream at her or anything like that, but she knew I was mad, and she didn't want me picking her up from school for a couple of days because of that, from daycare.
Really?
She was really mad at me, and so it took a couple of days for us to patch things up, because I want to let her know, like, I'm not going to put up with it.
Right. No, you can't. You got to let them know that, brother. You have to. You got to put the hand down.
Yep. And now, just like you said, if we get to a point where it's going to be a confrontation, like, she just draws back on that memory. I can see it happen to her, and then she just, like, she realizes, like, it's not going to work. So, it gets better, easier and easier, because you do. helping them.
Just like Bull said, little Bull. Not only do I have the baby, when I raise my voice, I have 100-pound pit bull roaring with me. It is the weirdest and craziest the way this dog defends the both of us, me and Enzo. It's amazing how I wish I had a video camera around all the time. The way Vito interacts with everything I do with this baby. He is right there with me. It's amazing. It's amazing.
Oh, I bet. You know, when my kids were younger, they came to stay the night, and they brought their German Shepherd with them.
Yeah.
And I came down the steps in the middle of the night to check on them. Everybody was sleeping downstairs, and my hair is all messed up, and I'm in my pajamas. That dog didn't recognize me with my hair all messed up. And this German Shepherd stood up, and his hair was stood up. He scared the shit. I went back upstairs.
No, sure. You even got scared, right?
Yeah, I went right back upstairs, and I didn't come back down until the morning. I was like, that dog, those kids are just fine down there.
The kids are fine.
Oh, yeah, that dog scared me. I was like, oh, he didn't even make a noise. He just had his hair. I never seen a German Shepherd do. His hairs went up, and he just was like started walking towards me. I was like, oh, okay.
Turn around real fast. Yeah.
Very protective over the
Yeah.
walls.
Well, just like this one here. Now, first thing, Daddy on the couch, of course. They go upstairs. The first thing this one, well, my daughter was still down here getting things ready. First thing Vito did was jump right on this couch with me. I'm staying down here with Papa. The girls and the baby upstairs, Papa and Vito. He hasn't moved. I showed you where he was.
Yeah.
But that's what he's right down here with me,
That's awesome.
where he always is. So you can't tell the dogs no different. They know where they want to go.
Yeah.
So,
Well, to wrap up this conversation, I think that it's a rough, stormy, very rewarding, emotional ride. But I think that, and I don't know if anybody has older grandkids out there, but I think that it's going to level off because, unless we keep having more grandbabies, it might get easier. But I think if we just only have one grandbaby, that when they get to a certain age, like 4 or 5 or 6, then that really kind of changes because it's so high intensity right now. And then I think it's going to go off to where we're probably going to be longing for their attention. I think so. You know what I mean? It's like chaos and then empty nest again. I don't know how to. I think you know what I'm trying to say.
I got you, buddy. I got you. We just got to Dindu's just hoping he's still here. That's all.
We're grateful that we're here every day, right? I mean,
that's it. I mean, the life I've lived, Osada, the profession I've been in, I could wake up tomorrow morning and something could be wrong. It's just so, I as a laborer, as a construction worker for 41 years, you ain't going to put nothing past Dindu. Yeah. I've seen a lot. I've seen births. I've seen that. I've seen everything you can in the construction racket. So, you have a different way of thinking. But on that note, Buffalo is going to kill Philly. Stony Tony, they're going to kill Philly by 2 touchdowns and take it to the bank, Coltrane. Okay.
It's a 1-point game. I think they got, I don't know who's favored, but it's only a 1-point favorite.
I know.
That's going to be that's going to probably be the most intense game of this week, I would think, right? It's going to be
yes.
Got a lot of because we read about the implications. It said that I lost. Oh wait, where's it at? Buffalo has already clinched a playoff spot, but is still fighting for a higher seed in the AFC and a shot at the AFC's title. If the Bills win out and the Patriots lose one of their remaining games, Buffalo could overtake New England for the division crown.
Nice.
Yeah. And then the Eagles have already clinched the NFC East division.
Right.
But they could go as high as the number 2 seed if they win outright and they get some help from someone else losing. So,
Right.
Very good game coming up.
All right, my man. Let me get going. Start my day here. Thank you. Good stuff.
Yes. Anytime. All right. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, everybody. You too. Maybe I'll go on later. I got to check. So stop by.
Okay. Sounds good.
All right, brother.
Take care. All right. There goes Steendu. And let's see if I can. He's gone. Yes. We'll end the show, guys. Thank everyone for hanging out. Sorry I didn't keep up on the chat too much. I seen one of Sweet Tea's comments about me being high. I thought it was funny. Nobody higher than you in more ways than one. Yes, exactly. Talking about being the grandpa, the high grandfather. Yeah. No, it's girls are 20 days short of being exactly 10 years apart. Wow. The younger one at one. That's awesome. Yeah, it's I have custody issues with my youngest son, so I know how that is. Merry Christmas, everyone. I got to go find some wrapping paper. Oh my God, Coach Rain, where are you going to find wrapping paper on Christmas morning? I think Thingdu's got a better chance of finding a Timmy Hortons open than the wrapping paper. You might want to go to the Timmy Hortons and see if they sell wrapping paper there, because I don't think that any stores are open. But good luck. Oh, your basement. Okay, yeah, there you go. Hopefully you got some in your house. Everybody's got, if anything, use newspaper or something. That's what I would do. Use newspaper and paint it. All right, guys. Toro, Coach Rain, Cheryl, Sweet Tea, Mustang Mike, and Theendu and Tommy. Bambi was here. Sorry, Bambi, I didn't say hi to you. Hope you guys are all doing good. Have a Merry Christmas. And we'll get into the X-Files tomorrow. We'll get into the exploding mic theory and just more of I don't know if you guys remember in Tennessee, October 10th, a month after Charlie Kirk was assassinated, there was a massive explosion at a military explosive facility, the AES, the Accelerated Explosives something or other facility. The Accurate Energetic Systems building. And the theory is that's where they made the microphone at. And that building blew up and there was nothing left. So
last look at what you're saying out there.
it froze on me. But I don't know if you guys remember that explosion. But we'll talk about that and
safely.
Yeah, so this here's a live look from Sky 5. Mike, really quickly, we don't have a whole lot of time, but can you just give us one last look at what you're saying out there?
Yeah, for sure. I understand this.
So those guys have been busted lying and lying and lying and lying and lying. So I know I have a roll with Black Santa on it, and I bought last. That's awesome. Much love. Merry Christmas, guys. Yep. Merry Christmas, everyone. And we will talk to you all tomorrow.